Steven, what would you say was the best game you reviewed this year?
Ooh, I mean, we're about a third of the... No, wait, how far into the year are we? We're a quarter of the way into the year.
Not yet. 22%. I saw it on Twitter.
22% of the way into the year. I played a really unique, interesting game called Super Seducer 3, and I'm mainly calling it the best game of the year so far because no one else will ever be able to play it, and it's super exclusive to me.
Oh, why is that?
Well, Super Seducer 3 was recently banned from Steam for featuring explicit imagery of real-life actors. So, what Super Seducer is basically is a series of FMV games where this guy, Richard LaRuina, he's a professional pickup artist. He gives talks, and he started his own, I don't know what you call it, a school or something, where he gives lessons on how to be a successful pickup artist.
So he's basically the Jordan Peterson of pickup, right?
Yes, basically.
I was going to say, you didn't know what to call it. I would call it a cult.
Could be a cult, yeah. I don't know, but a cult... I mean, usually the cult leader will, take the wives of his acolytes, and I don't think that would happen in his cult, right? Because they don't have wives. So anyway, the game's basically, they'll present you with a scenario, and there'll be a little scene that plays out, and then you get a multiple choice quiz on how to talk to this girl. And if you choose all the right answers, you will supposedly always be able to hook up with whatever chick you're with, or you're talking to. So and it's just very random scenarios. It's things like if you walk into a random girl on the street and want to talk to her, or in a grocery store, or whatever. And so, it's definitely a little sleazy and a little morally ambiguous, to say the least. But the first two games came out without incident back in 2018. And then Richard LaRuina, he took 3 years off, I guess, to really get ready for Super Seducer 3. He kicked it into high gear, and his game got banned from Steam because he put too many nearly naked ladies in it. Specifically, the parts that seem to be in question are he does this thing where, when you choose an answer, there'll be a scene of him explaining to you why what you did was wrong or right. And he always has these random women scattered around him as set dressing. He'll just have chicks hanging out in lingerie to show how much of a super seducer he is while he's talking to you. And in the first game, it was 2, I think. And then the second one, there was a few more. And in the third game, it's him in a giant room with a dozen naked women, or not naked, but mostly naked women hanging out around him. And I guess that was too much for Steam. And that's what they're citing as the reason they can't put the game up.
So for any of our listeners who really want to see what Steven is talking about, you can check out the official GBAtemp review for Super Seducer 3 on GBAtemp's YouTube channel at youtube.com/GBAtempTV. I think that's the link. So yeah, check that out sometime.
Yeah, you got to check it out before YouTube bans it for all of the scantily dressed people in this cult. A cult being a religion or religious sect generally considered to be extremist or false. This kind of sounds right. You saying that he's explaining how to pick up women with a bunch of women behind him in a giant room.
I'll send you guys a video. You can take a look at it. So here's the thing. The version that I reviewed, is the censored version because he didn't want the game to get banned on Twitch. So I sent you guys a video that has a video of the uncensored version. If you guys, there's an article about this up on GBAtemp.net. You can see the video there if you want.
Oh,
whoa.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the uncensored version.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, where can I get this game? It's not on Steam.
Nowhere. Fuck. And here's the censored version is really, really funny because during those scenes specifically, and you can see this in our review or most other coverage on YouTube will have it, it'll be a scene of him sitting in this room with naked women everywhere, and everything will be blurred except for a tiny little sliver where Richard is sitting. So 80% of the screen is just blur, except for Richard.
Hey, Richard Ruina, whatever. I know you're listening to this podcast. Send me a copy. I have a couple of connections with a major publisher, which I can't actually talk about right now. It's going to be revealed.
The GBAtemp downloads page. It'll be bundled with this episode.
Yes. Oh, dude. Ooh. Yeah. If it's under 100 megabytes, we can definitely do that. Absolutely.
I think the censored version I had on Steam was 24 25 gigs.
We can compress it. It's just video.
Yes, that's fine. Yes, just mark it down to like 240p.
Yeah, exactly. Like with this kind of content, quality doesn't really matter that much, to be honest.
That's for sure.
So the image that's on the banner where it's him and he's wearing like a Jedi robe with like, is that officially from the game? Because you cannot tell me that this is not a religion. This is not a cult.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you're totally right. That was the Steam like the banner page or the key art for the Steam page. So yeah, that is official art of Super Seducer.
Yeah. This is a cult.
And it is worth pointing out, his game does seem to be relatively successful if we're trusting his numbers. Apparently, according to Richard himself, the game had 61,700 wish lists. Like, people had put it on their Steam wish list that many times. Is really, really surprising.
I could use some pickup techniques because, got issues with that.
So anyway, guys, welcome to episode 31 of the Tempcast. I am your host, Eric Zander. With me today is fellow co-host Alan John.
Hey, what's up?
As well as very special guest, Steven. I'm so sorry that it took so long for us to actually start the opening to this podcast. You had to wait all that time while we talked about that stuff. It's sort of like waiting to get into an online match in Grand Theft Auto Online, wouldn't you guys say?
I wasn't done with Super Seducer.
Oh, son of a bitch.
You just fucking launched into that. You didn't ask if we were done. God damn it.
Keep going.
Okay, what I wanted to ask, like what I thought the crux of this is, because I do think this is an interesting situation, is the first two games have been released with no problem on Steam. All of the fucking icky moral stuff exists in those games as much as this one. Steam has no problem with any of that, which is the problem most people have with this game. The problem they have is all of the, nudity in it. But there's a bunch of games on Steam, like there's like anime games, like Hunipop, I think it's called, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
That you can...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that like if you look them up, it's kind of the same thing, except it's all animated characters. Like, how do you feel about this, about Steam, like, banning a game like this, but letting other ones up? Or do you think they should be laxer like this? Like, considering all the garbage that's on Steam, it does seem weird for scantily clad women to be the line, right? Like...
honestly, it's not fair. I wanted to play this game. It looks interesting. It looks nice. I really enjoy the visuals in it. It might be. If when you play like a stupid game like Stardew Valley, right? You're not getting anything from it. You're just wasting time. Let's be honest. Come on. Like Terraria. Like, what are you gonna learn from that? How to fight a gigantic sandworm? But with Super Seducer, you can learn some real life skills which you could use in your personal life, which is a good thing. It teaches you something.
It's education.
And it's got these really nice visuals, once again. So,
Alan John's part of the cult.
So you're saying Super Seducer is a throwback to like the early 90s edutainment games?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
That were in all the classrooms.
Cool math games for adults, basically.
Actually, you know what? There actually is a segment. I couldn't play it because it was excluded from the censored version, but there was supposed to be a feature in the full version called Sexy Girls Teach Sex, which it didn't say exactly what it was, but presumably it was about the specific mechanics of how to do it well, I guess. So
yeah, I need that kind of information as well. I'm lacking in that department.
So you're saying Super Seducer is sort of like a throwback to older games like Pajama Sam or Freddy Fish or
exactly
Putt Saves the Zoo?
I never
maybe even like
games.
Mario Teaches Typing.
Yeah, it's more like that. Yeah.
Okay. Reader Rabbit, got it.
Mario teaches how to pick up women.
If you ever have kids, that's how you're gonna like build his backlog. Just give him Mario Teaches Typing and then Super Seducer, the entire trilogy. This is how you build. Even if it's a girl, because she should know when a man is picking her up, so she could say, "Hey, wait, I don't want that." Like,
you didn't pick the right choices. Okay, so I'm gonna throw a pie at your face.
Yeah, she needs to be taught what the wrong and right choices are.
Yeah.
So we know who's behind all of this. It's a guy with a very ironic name. His name is Gaben. So he probably personally dismissed this game from his store. So yeah, thanks a lot. Like, instead of developing Half-Life 3, this is what Gaben does. He just blocks good games like Super Seducer 3.
Exactly. Any game that gets to a 3. I would say Gabe probably played Super Seducer 3, soaked in all the knowledge, and then banned it so no one else would be able to pick up chicks as well as him. He didn't want everyone else out there stealing his tail.
What if he played through it and was like, yeah, this doesn't actually work. I tried this.
I would love to see Gabe out trying these.
Maybe he's just jealous because they were able to get to a third Super Seducer, but they weren't able to get to a third Half-Life game.
They even took a few years off before they went to the third Super Seducer, so...
Exactly.
You know, they're really mimicking the Valve story here. Can I just say, people should play these games because they're f***ing so weird and surreal. Like, there's a bit in the first game where he suggests that when you're talking to a girl and you ask for her name, when she tells it to you, you should say that that's also your name. And that this is a really funny joke, and it'll show how much personality you have, and that you can make something fun out of boring pleasantries and shit like that. And, like, it's obviously, like, awkward and stupid and not funny, and it plays out like that in the scene as really awkward, but then Richard shows up and starts patting you on the back for how clever you are. They're really embarrassing and stupid, weird games, and they're awful, and I think everyone should play them, honestly. And I mean, I'm a little disappointed this one isn't coming out, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Are you done with Super Seducer now, Steven?
Thank you. I'm sorry. I wanted to talk about Super Seducer.
So anyway, guys, this is episode 31 of the Tempcast, the official GBAtemp podcast. My name is Eric Zander, your host. With me today are co-host Alan John, the Alan John himself.
Yes, I've been demoted to co-host. Yes, indeed.
As well as very special guest Steven.
Oh, hey, how's it going, everybody?
So I genuinely have to apologize to our audience. I'm sorry that it took so long for us to actually get to this opening. You had to, sit through that whole long wait of nothing important happening. Kind of like waiting to get into a game of Grand Theft Auto Online in the online portion of Grand Theft Auto 3. Or, fuck!
The online portion of Grand... You got Super Seducer on the brain. I know you did. Speaking of Super Seducer, the wait for Super Seducer 3 to be released on Steam is like waiting to get into a game of Grand Theft Auto Online. Wow, I also lost the transition.
Yeah. Shame on me. Grand Theft Auto 5. Cancel the podcast.
This is all staying in, right?
Anyway, guys, it takes a long time to get into Grand Theft Auto Online, doesn't it?
I guess.
Not anymore.
Oh, why not anymore, Steven? Son of a...
Eric, redeem yourself. Explain this story.
Okay, there was a guy. Well, there was actually a game. It was called Grand Theft Auto 5. You've probably played it on the PS3, PS4. You're going to be able to play it on the PS5. You could probably play it on the PS2. I don't know. And also on the PC. Now, the weird thing is the PC version of this game had insane load times. The console versions weren't. I mean, they're kind of slow, but they weren't that bad. But there were some issues in the coding when it came to the Steam version of the game. So some dude, who was the dude's name? Anybody know?
Toast.
Some dude named Toast fixed it. He figured out how to change a little bit of code around, and then boom, all of a sudden the game loads so much quicker. And instead of getting really mad at him and banning him and throwing him in jail and planting bad stuff on his computer, Rockstar Games actually said, "Hey, that's pretty neat," or "Hey, that's pretty good," and decided to update Grand Theft Auto 5, that game from 2013?
Yep.
And make the online loading times less horrible, so you don't have to listen to us talk about Super Seducer for 20 minutes prior to loading into your online match. So, yeah, did I get that all right?
Yep. That was nice. Thank you, Eric. You can go now.
Okay, bye.
All right. So, I'm going to talk as a real expert on Grand Theft Auto Online, as somebody who played an entire 5 minutes of it. There's actually a cool video about Grand Theft Auto 5's Online by Some Ordinary Gamers on YouTube. His name is Mutahar, I think. You guys might have heard of him. Really popular Let's Player or whatever, YouTuber guy. But he basically made a very interesting video about GTA 5's Online. Turns out it's built on this archaic system that's backported from GTA 4, I think, which is peer-to-peer. Now, for those of you who don't remember, GTA 4 had multiplayer as well, but it was like a prototype version of GTA Online, basically. You can only join with your friends, with maybe like a couple of friends, not like massively multiplayer like GTA Online is. And because of that, the architecture that they use was peer-to-peer, which means that whoever creates like a game, like an instance of the game, is hosting the server for other players to connect to. Which makes sense for a small game like GTA 4, but GTA 5 is just so much bigger and so much more populated, but they still use the same system. Now, the issue isn't just in that your PC or console, whatever, playing the game uses like your hardware also as a server. The issue comes in security, because that way, I've seen hackers do this. Basically, they run scripts and hacks, and they basically tell you your IP address, like your operating system. They like post all this information in your chat so everybody could see if you're hosting. And I think they can even find other people's IPs. And this is all because Rockstar doesn't host any servers, which blows my mind. How this game that makes $200 million a year, they can't even spend like at least $2 million for server hosting. Like, come on.
That is kind of crazy, yeah.
I don't know if it's difficult for them to just completely restructure the online like infrastructure, whatever, to make it like centrally hosted. But it's still, yeah, peer-to-peer in 2021, it's a big security liability. So I hope that's the next thing that they fix.
I don't want to interrupt, but while you were talking, Eric turned off his camera for a second, and when he brought it back on, he was rubbing his nose very suspiciously. I'm really curious what he was doing then, and if his energy level will suddenly increase for the rest of the podcast. That was really weird.
I was hiding how much I was laughing at a meme that Alan John made in regards to Steven. And I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the conversation.
Hey, speaking of the flow.
Speaking of the flow of the conversation, and speaking of Grand Theft Auto, and speaking of Chinatown, okay, that doesn't work. I flew too close to the sun. Have you guys played Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars?
No, I never got around to that one.
I played it on my DS. It was pretty cool.
So did I. It was very fun. It was reminiscent of Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2 prior to 3, which I mistakenly said was the one with the online functionality because I'm a moron. But anyway, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars has been ported to the PlayStation Vita by none other than, drumroll please, I'll drumroll myself, The Flow.
Well, not just The Flow.
And some other people.
Renegatamante. Renegatamante.
Renegatamante.
It's probably, I think that's how you pronounce it.
I appreciate you, Rio Ganamane. Good job, The Flow and friends.
Rio de Gabante.
Yes.
Well, those two, he also worked with The Flow on the other GTA ports to the Vita he's been doing, right? He worked on him with the Vice City and GTA 3.
San Andreas,
yeah. But yeah, did they do all three of them?
I don't know.
I wasn't sure if they had San Andreas done yet, but I knew they did.
Oh yeah, we talked about it, Steven. We talked about San Andreas being ported to the Vita actually on a Tempcast.
Well, in all honesty, I know that. Yeah, I did. We generally mention The Flow's name. The only reason it's because that's an easier name to say. So,
well, he's also pretty well known because he did a lot of Vita hacking.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody involved in making these games go onto the Vita, because really they should have been on them in the first place. I know we've talked about this before, but we've had PSP Grand Theft Auto games. We had Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories, and they worked really well. So if the PS Vita was more successful, I almost guarantee that these games would have ended up on there. It's the definitive way to play it portably, because using your phone, I showed my phone as if you guys can see it. If you're listening to audio, fuck you. But it's like, now we got Chinatown Wars, which is unique in the fact that it was a DS game that's now been ported over. So, or is there a mobile version of Chinatown Wars actually?
Yes, there is. Yeah. This was the mobile version that was ported. Now, the thing is, it's funny that you mentioned the PSP, because Chinatown Wars was actually released for the PSP as well, way after the DS release. So, obviously, yes, the DS one came first, and then the PSP, and then I think after that, the iOS, and then subsequently the Android ports.
You're right. I'm an ignorant fool.
I heard only 3 letters from that, and I thought you were saying a bad word for some reason. Okay.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
And the thing is, this is what I've heard from a couple of people, that even though this port is pretty cool, lots of people say that the PSP version of Chinatown Wars is way better suited for the Vita than the Android port. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. If there are any Chinatown Wars experts on GBAtemp.net, write me a PM, or Alexander a PM, detailing why I am right or why I am wrong.
And if you tell him that he's right, I'll just sort of kind of twist the words so that I can let him know that he was wrong.
That's your job. You're a lawyer, after all.
Is to twist people's words, pretty much.
Well, I mean, I'm doing a quick look here on the differences between the mobile and PSP versions. It kind of looks like, the PSP version has more missions, it looks like.
Oh.
But the mobile has a higher resolution.
That's kind of a unique thing that they would give you the mobile version then. So I clearly forgot that there was a PSP version of it, but you can just play that on your PS Vita already, right?
Yeah, you can.
So this isn't, this is impressive, and I'm not saying that it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
But it's not porting San Andreas or Vice City or GTA 3. Next, we need GTA 5 with really fast loading times on the PlayStation Vita. I guess you could do 4 first, but hurry up, get to it. The Flow and Friends.
Yeah, the Flow should definitely step up his game.
These are old games. Yeah, give us GTA 4, damn it. Give us Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Give us Super Seducer 3.
That's probably the only console it could launch on.
Is the Vita.
Yeah.
Actually, all the Super Seducer games are slated for a release on the Nintendo Switch. So we'll see how that goes.
Whoa. Okay. Isn't it crazy? Chinatown Wars was a game. I don't know if you guys played it. You deal drugs in that game. You literally buy and sell drugs in that game. It was surreal playing that on a Nintendo DS. Like, this is an officially sanctioned game by Nintendo, licensed by
You also
Nintendo.
get a bazooka.
I mean, you can use a bazooka in like cartoony way,
like worms.
but like dealing drugs, like hey man, this cocaine, this 100% pure product, like what? This is on a Nintendo DS.
Oh, speaking of,
Are you quoting Eric when he fucking turned off his camera earlier? What was that? Yeah.
what
Sorry.
is the Chinatown Wars games?
It is.
Hello, yes, is Chinatown Wars game, please? Thank you.
Is the Vita version of the game already out for Chinatown Wars, or are we waiting for it to officially release?
That's out.
It's out. Okay, so it hasn't been delayed or anything like that?
No, no. There are no game delays happening. around here.
Wow, that was really clever of me, because I just thought of a really great way to transition into the next topic, everybody. So, speaking of the Chinatown Wars not being delayed by the Flow and Friends, unfortunately, not everyone can be able to say that they also did not delay their games because Arkham Knights is delayed.
Why did you think this transition would be better if you threw in 50 words that didn't need to be there? You just kept saying words and hoped someone would rescue you.
Arkham Knights, Gotham Knights, actually, is what it is called. Gotham Knights has been pushed actually until 2022 instead of 2021.
It got pushed to the past. Jesus Christ, this is a fucking disaster. Holy.
So, do you guys like Batman? I do.
Yeah, can we just talk about the Snyder Cut instead of this? You guys watched it?
I did not.
It's pretty good. It's a lot better. I honestly haven't watched the Josh Whedon, the Joe Sweden version, whatever it's called, because the trailer looked terrible. Like the first trailer for Justice League, like, okay, this looks interesting, but the Josh Whedon version and reshoots, it just looked cringy. So I didn't even bother with that. But the Snyder Cut came out. It's 4 hours long. I enjoyed it. It's pretty good. But hey, I'm a guy who liked Batman versus Superman, the theatrical version. I liked that movie. It's a good movie.
See, when you said you hadn't seen the theatrical cut of Justice League, my exact review was going to be, it's not good, but it's not a train wreck the way Batman v Superman was. So
I'm sorry if I missed. Steven, did you actually ask Alan John what his opinion was on the Snyder Cut?
No,
because I sure didn't ask. Oh, then what's he talking about? Because I don't remember asking. So anyway. Gotham Knights.
Anyway, let me stumble back to Gotham Knights. So, did you hear that also in the it was last year before, but now it was announced last year, but now it's going to be 2 more years, and if you call it from anyway. We had a fucking conversation first.
Wait, are you trying to sell me that it was supposed to come out this year, but for some reason it's not going to be coming out this year? So when is it coming out? Next year? Oh wait, they actually said 2022, and as we all know, 2022 is actually going to be the next year after this one. So it's not going to come out this year, unfortunately.
Yes.
I can't wait for the Snyder Cut of Gotham Knights in 2025.
I can't wait for the Snyder Cut of the Tempcast episode 31, where they fix all
this
of
one
these
has
problems.
already been 4 hours long, like mostly consisting of like, Jesus Christ. Gotham Knights got delayed until next year. Let's go. I don't give
That's
a fuck.
really about it. That's
all there is to say. Jesus.
But no, the Snyder Cut, it was pretty good. Like, honestly, you guys should check it out.
I've been meaning to watch it. I would like to see it. I've heard some decent things. I don't like Zack Snyder.
Why?
But I will. Well, not like personally. I don't know. Batman v Superman is bad. Man of Steel is bad.
Wow. Okay.
Watchmen, I remember enjoying, but I haven't seen it since I was 14 or maybe 15.
Now, Watchmen is one of the best movies ever made, but that's not the issue. You have to agree, though, that he is, like, you might not like his vision, but he is a visionary, and when you can tell, like, by a frame of a movie, this is a Zack Snyder film, right?
Yeah, if it's really dark and grungy and there's no sun in sight, it's definitely a fucking Zack Snyder movie. The most Zack Snyder thing in any movie is in Batman v Superman, when Superman gets hit by a nuke and he's dying and he gets like recharged by the sun's yellow rays, because that's how Superman works. But Zack Snyder couldn't bring himself to film the sun, so Superman just sort of floats in space for like 15 seconds and then gets up and goes back. Like, that's fucking Zack Snyder in a nutshell, honestly.
So our good friend Jordan, otherwise known as Rai4, he wrote a little paragraph on his thoughts of the Snyder Cut. He says, the Snyder Cut is good. I feel like 4 hours was a bit excessive and it could have been shortened for sure, but the overall pacing is really good and it makes full use of every minute on screen.
Yeah.
It really didn't feel like I was watching a 4-hour movie, and the second half does well, keeping things moving so as not to draw attention to the length. Really solid character development, some great cinematography, and overall, it's just a good follow-up to a movie I'm not much a fan of. DC diehards will love it, and ultimately, I'm just glad that Zack Snyder's true vision was finally realized. Every filmmaker deserves to be proud of their film, so at the very least, this serves as a redemption for a man who definitely needs a win. I'm glad I skipped the first cut so I could see the true Justice League as my first experience. 7.5 out of 10, still better than Breath of the Wild.
Oh.
Okay,
No.
I added that last sentence, but everything else was Jordan's words.
That sounded like a speech you would give before presenting Zack Snyder with an award, like for the fucking whiniest fan base on the internet. They bitched at WB until they made a whole new movie for him just to fucking shut him the fuck up.
So you say Jordan gave it a 7.5.
Yes.
Maybe he could up that rating just a little bit, maybe to 7.55.
Ooh! Damn!
Like the PS4 firmware version that got hacked recently
Whoa!
by
Okay.
The Flow, actually.
The Flow, whoa. And Friends?
Possibly. I don't know.
Nice.
Maybe he does have friends. Who knows? We've talked about this previously on a Tempcast, and the thing is, this was like an officially sanctioned hack that was published. Sony's Hacker One program, I think, where they put a $10,000 bounty, and The Flow just found this exploit, collected his money, then waited a couple of months and said, yeah, guys, by the way, 7.55, you missed a hack there, right here. So yeah, check that out. Which it's a win-win situation because, well, it's not a win situation for Sony by any means, I guess, but they fixed the issue in other more newer versions of the firmware, obviously. But if you do have a PS4 laying around somewhere with an older firmware for some reason, then you can now actually download or use this exploit, details of which I cannot find anywhere, unfortunately. And even if I did, I wouldn't understand them because I don't know anything about PS4 hacking. But if you have a PS4 with a firmware version below 7.5, it might be 7.51 or something like that. You can check out GBAtemp.net. That's GBAtemp.net.
The T is not capitalized, but the GBA is.
Yes.
When you type it in your browser, make sure that you have capital G, capital B, capital A, lowercase everything else, .net.
Capital T on the net, though.
No. We have a lot of experts on the website who can help you. Just make a thread about any stupid question you have about this, and I'm sure that people will help you.
For example, if you need help on how to hack your PS4, you can go directly to Kiwi. If you need help getting, say free games for PS4, you just directly message Alan John right into his direct messages. He'll send you links. He'll give you all the wares that you need. You can't post it on the website. All of it has to be funneled through Alan John. That's ALAN JOHN, capital A, capital J.
Yes, indeed. That's how it works. Yeah. Sure.
And if you want to support the site, download Raid Shadow Legends. Use our code.
Don't do that.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Because people will do that thinking because they sponsor everything, they probably will download it. And we're not going to get any money, and they're just going to waste their money because it's a gotcha game.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I'm saying support us by just downloading it because it makes me feel happy knowing that more people are able to play the best game on mobile devices now straight from your mobile device. And you can have your champions and you get all the champions. And if you use our code, you get extra gold.
You don't get. I don't think they even use gold as a currency in that game. I think.
Yeah, well, not until you use our code, and then you get gold.
What's our code again? Is it just Raid Shadow Legends?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the official GBAtemp code for Raid Shadow Legends. It's just
look. I'm
Raid
not
Shadow
saying.
Legends.
I'm not saying we're sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. I'm just saying that
We're not.
I'm just saying that all I'm saying is that Raid Shadow Legends is a brand new ambitious RPG that has taken the mobile landscape by storm, and over 10 million players have already downloaded the game. Okay,
That's
all I'm saying.
Like advertising without like disclosing that you're clearly advertising is illegal, right? You know that.
Well,
right?
no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just asking the audience, what are they waiting for? Just check out the link in the description to sign up and get 50,000 silver and a free Epic Champion, like as part of the new player program. Go for it. Like, just do it. What's wrong with you? You don't have to take my word for it, because this game has over 250,000 reviews that definitely aren't fake. So,
this episode was sponsored by Matt.com. Visit Matt.com/GBAtemp and, shave your pubes. Do it. And on that note, I think we should end today's podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Be sure to please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Whoa, are we done?
we're done.
I wasn't fucking finished with Super Seducer 3. God damn it.
God.
What do you do? I thought we were getting back to it.
It's over. It's done. Bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.